Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio Cappers Contest Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Right here, we vote on the games that we will be using for our card this week. And Jose, or being up against the Sharps, finally bit us in the labia. 0-5, Jose. My fears, I have immense fears with us doing it, and they came to fruition. My fear. Why if we're against the Sharps, why don't we just stay off? Why don't we just stay off that spot, Jose? And Jose let us know that not only did we go 0-5, but we lost our number 6th pick and 7th pick as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it again to double check and make sure. But yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. It was a tough scene for us. I'll admit, for the last 2-3 weeks, Sundays have been the day of the week I've been dreading the most. I've been dreading it every day, every week, and it comes and it makes me sad every week for just so many reasons. And unfortunately, the main one is that I am no longer the leader in the Cappers contest, and it hurts my heart. And this is to be expected. I am a mental midget, as they say, but I will shout out the two people that are up there now. Drug Monkey RX, the sole leader in the Cappers contest. He had the Stillers on Monday night. That gave him the lead. I was rooting hard for the Colts. Very disappointing last drive, just Saturday. Fucking dummy. Slam DeCosterable as well, also tied in the lead.
And do you know who that is?
I don't.
That is a combination of Damon Santori and Paco Healy. They are San Diego guys. Isn't that great?
Well, no wonder Damon's been saying, I'm coming for you, all this stuff. I'm like, I don't even know where Damon is. I already owe Damon a steak. God damn, that Damon Santori just has me has my ankles above my head right now, just shaking me down for all I'm worth right now. And Paco just pointing and laughing on the way, too. You bastards.
I am cheering for them. Actually, Drug Monkey RX.
That hurts. That hurts. I'm not gonna lie, that hurts. I have said several times, if I had $3,000, that is the most amount of money I will ever have in my possession ever. And Jimmy just said, fuck it. You want to be poor. You poor. Parkdale. I wish I could move to Parkdale right now, Jimmy. That's how bad it is.
Well, there was a 4 people shot last week in Parkdale.
As long as I'm not one of them.
Yeah, in a building quite close to ours. 2 people let go.
I thought you guys don't have guns in Canada.
No, we have guns. Let's review our failures last week. Now, please, we got a bunch of cappers in the chat. Nuke Worker, Brooklyn Funk Project, NJ Striker, Danny Lopez. Please, if we are against the Sharps, let's just stay off. Our number 1 pick was very public. Seahawks -3.5. Our number 2 pick, Chargers -4.5. Ooh. Our 3rd pick, we knew all the Sharps were on the Steelers, but we were on the Colts. We were unlucky on the 4th spot. Cowboys, that was backdoor cover, unlucky. We were on the Broncos at -3. That went down to 1. I was on the Broncos team total under.
Well, that's what we get. Was that he was there against the Sam Darnold-led Panthers?
As our 6th pick was the Buccaneers. It didn't make it, but against all the Sharps on the Browns. Our 7th pick, the Patriots. Now, that was with the Sharps. We were unlucky there. Danny Lopez says, need a pass option. What about that? What about adding a pass option? Then we can see them. People are voting, but they're voting that I don't want to get in the way of this.
Sure.
What do you think? I think that's a great idea from Danny.
Pat, I will admit the pass option has been floated before.
Oh, it didn't fly?
You are fucking hated.
Oh, I hated it?
Not like it. He did not like it earlier in the year. I will admit that. But we figured it out, and the pass option. Here we go.
I think it's a really good idea. Are we going to use it today?
Yeah. So today, the 360 flip. Oh God, it makes me laugh. I love it. No, we're in. We're
Well,
in. Pass
I,
option.
I think I don't know. I think that that might be because then we'll see everybody because we're like, oh, look how many people are in the chat but aren't voting. Then we'll have a great idea. Ron Crawford, division dog at home, better overall defense, 25-9-2. That's the Patriots and the Rams.
Yeah, so first of all, no NBA Pub Hub today. Only
Okay.
one game, so no
Yeah.
NBA Pub Hub. So we've got free range. Oh, we can do whatever we want today. And secondly, we might have to get our picks in today because I've had them on my card I've gone against them and I've had them on my card the last 2-3 weeks or whatever the fuck. But I like the Patriots today as well, and it fucking kills me. I fucking hate that team, man. I hate them so much.
Well, I haven't even looked at what the circa numbers are. I'll pull that up. Let's take a second and give a shout out to Bo Jackson, big supporter and great guy. He said just got news last night. My uncle passed away. Sorry to hear, man. It's death never gets any easier. Never gets any easier. And so sorry that you have to go through that. Life is just unrelenting. And you can go through the toughest thing that means so much to you, and then you look at it and no one else gives a fuck. And that's the tricky thing about death. But we'll let you know that we do. We care. And sorry that you have to go through this and thinking about you and your family. And it's just tough, man. There's no other way around it. Nothing anybody can say to make it easier. It's just tough. But we love you, man, and we love capping with you. So thank you for joining us. And one thing that we can do anytime where life is tough is join together in cap sports, right? That brings us so much happiness to come in cap sports. So I know why you're here when you're dealing with the difficulties, because it's really fun. It's really fun. So love you, man. And let's get to work. We have a big so look, last week was an atrocity.
Yeah, let's have a locker room talk right now. Let's get in the huddle. Let's get into it.
It was an atrocity, and we've been on this fine line here, going up against the Sharps. It's okay if that's what you guys want to do. I believe in you guys. We need to bounce back. Now, next week is the first week of the final quarter, so we can do the whole speech where we're 0-0. It's the brand new year. We can do that next week.
Okay,
this week
for that one.
yeah.
Could you wear? I would like if you wore like a whistle and like sweatsuits that day. Really get into the coach vibe that day.
Sure. I'll be honored. But this week we just got to build some momentum. Let's get back over 500, start feeling good about ourselves again, and build momentum. Big Mo.
Yeah, we need some Mo.
Big Mo. All right, I'm just gonna pull up the Circa Million so I have them ready to go.
It's gonna be fun. And you know what? We've got some time today. I'm gonna put up the first poll. 3 options. We've got time. First game, Thursday night. 2 teams I hate. 1 quarterback that's good. 1 quarterback that's a fraud. 1 coach that's a fraud, and 1 coach that's good. Guess who the fraud coach is? I don't know. Is it Bill? Is it McDermott?
Well, it can't be Bill, so it must be McDermott. All right, let's get to work here. Thursday night football. By the way, it's much colder than we had expected. 33 Fahrenheit, about 13 degrees Fahrenheit. It's colder than we thought it was going to be. And I am on the Patriots, but I got +5. Now, there's not a big difference between +3.5 and +5, so I'll still give out the Patriots here. I'll still click the button, But the Bills are 1-4 against the spread for their last 5 games. I think these are the key points. Let's quickly talk about the line history here, and then I'll give it what I think are the key points. Line history is this opened up at 5.5, and it's now at 3.5. So clearly the books are uncomfortable with that money on the Patriots. Then when we take a look at the cash flow here, there's only 2 teams that were given more line value than the New England Patriots this week, and that's the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers. We're the only 2 teams. There's 118,981 tickets in. 38% of the tickets, 70% of the cash is on the Patriots, and the books are concerned. They moved at 2 points, 5.5 to 3.5. These are the main points for me why I think the Patriots can stay in this game. This is the Bills' third straight road game. No schedule would ever allow that to happen, but because of the move from Buffalo to Detroit, 3 straight road games. The flu bug is running rampant through the locker room. That was on Sunday, so they're feeling better, and all those guys who are sick are playing. And there has been some good news coming out of the injury report, and I'll let you guys know this very quickly here. There's some really good news for Bills backers, and that's that. Well, we know Von Miller went down with an injury, so we're all okay. What will this defense look like? It looks like it will be fine because Epinesa will be in the lineup, and so will Greg Rousseau. So you're adding Epinesa and Greg Rousseau. You have Tremaine Edmonds back, which is big. And then Mitch Morse is back. He's going to play, and that really shores up the offensive line. In saying all that, I think New England can keep this close. And I need David Andrews in the lineup, and we have not got that yet. Ron Crawford got it at 5, as I did. LeCoin already has New England plus 3.5 in his pocket. And we heard on today's show that the pimp slap play of the day from Mike M is the Bills minus 3.5. And Razor Sharp Picks Gambler's First Glance is the Pats plus 3.5.
Oh, God.
So both sides of the fence being ridden, Jose. Take it away.
I am going to be so fucking angry if I take the Patriots again and they lose for me. Like I said, I took the Jets 2 weeks ago against the Patriots. We don't talk about that game anymore. Minnesota, I was on Minnesota the whole week. I flipped to the fucking Patriots last minute. I fucking lose there, of course. Now, am I really going to take the Patriots again here? I want to. I really do, because this is it. This is their season. They lose this game, they're fucking done. The Jets already have another lead on them. And, thankfully they do, because obviously they own every fucking tiebreaker in the book against the Jets. And if they lose this game, I really think they're cooked. So I think Bill Belichick will bring their fucking A game. They'll somehow find a way to play well at home. I just think the Patriots, backs against the wall, find a way to win this game, truthfully, and just drive me up a fucking wall if they do.
It's going to be very difficult to win this game, but they're at home. And I think there's a lot going for them here. The Bills are a better football team, and no one's saying that they're not. I'm just saying under the circumstances, can they keep this within a field goal? I think yes. We are trying a new thing here. We have the pass option. I think it's great because
I'm voting now too. I decided, fuck it. I've been sitting on the sidelines too, so I'm going to take some votes.
I like it. I think this is a great idea. Now there's it's a test. This is a test. But
yeah,
I think
obviously our percentages are going to be different this time as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But as we end the poll right now, let's see. 43%. And Billy Friedrich hates it. Billy Friedrich fucking can't stand it. 43% for the New England Patriots there. So that's very funny. Thank you, Billy Friedrich, for that laugh. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that 39% won't make our card as well, but just pretty close there if we're gonna mention.
I like this. I think that we're improving. I think we're finding a way, and then everybody's going to be involved. Look, we don't have as many people in the chat here, and that'll happen when you go 0-5 and fall under 500 at this time of the year. That'll happen. But I believe. We're adding the pass button. We have a bunch of cappers in here that I respect and believe in. There's Sharpie's bets in the house. He likes pass. I like pass. I like what we're doing. We're evolving. Let's move on to our first game Sunday, Jose. Let's do it one hole.
Let's fucking do it. As the poll is up, we're talking fucking Pittsburgh Steelers versus your Falcons. Now, I'll admit, Jimmy, I guess I'm starting the breakdowns. I like this. We've even switched this aspect of it. I first thought this is a Falcons spot. And the line flipping, it was a -1 for the Falcons, I believe, and now -1 for the Steelers, has scared me off of it. I don't know. Am I just have my misconceptions of the Falcons from the beginning of the season when they were winning games somehow? In the last couple of weeks, they found ways to lose, and now the Steelers got their Watt brother back, whichever TJ, JJ, whatever the other one's name is. They've got him back. So I don't know. It's just a tough tough road to sled if I want to take the Steelers here at away. I just ultimately I pass this game, and I don't trust Kenny Pickett too.
I find the Steelers are a tricky cap. They completely dominated the first half against the Colts. I mean, completely dominated. And blink, and the Colts are up 17-16. So that's a problem. And their special teams are a problem. And we know what Cordell Patterson can do. So Pittsburgh's tricky, man. They opened up at +1.5, and that's how Jose said they're now -1. Better idea from the money line, and it's not big. They opened up at Pinnacle +107. They're now -107. But, and this is the big but, the Sharps love them. The Steelers and the Packers have the most implied line value here by Sports Insights. 59% of the tickets, 88% of cash on the Steelers.
Yeah, that flip just makes it feels like this is the Sharps know and the Steelers are going to win this ball game. That's what it makes me feel like at the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if this line went up even more by kickoff. You could maybe even see a 3.
No, we'll not see a 3. That's lunacy.
I'm on those crazy pills, Jimmy. I'm on those crazy pills. I don't expect this to be a 1 on kickoff. I'd be a little surprised.
Oh, no, I feel that. I think we could move another half. Billy. You know what? I guess Billy Freak said Pickett's also evolving. And Sharpie says, man, Pass could have saved us this year. I think this was an important move by us. I guess Nuke words out here because I was on fire. We love you, Nuke. We love you, man. I think
that's accountability right there, Nuke. Hell yeah.
I think the Patriots are probably the play now. I think that I should probably bet the Patriots. Let's talk a little bit of X's and O's here. But
it's gonna make me sick.
The Steelers come in on short rest, but it was an impressive 24-17 win. Their defense held the Colts to 3 of 12 on third down and 290 total yards. Are the Falcons really a better offense than the Colts? Arguably. The Steelers dominated the first half. George Pickens is the real deal. Deontay Johnson looks good out there, and Kenny Pickett is looking a little better. Benny Snell took over at running back and looked good enough. We've been told that Ogunjobi and Miles Jack are good to go, as is Minkah Fitzpatrick. So it's
not going.
Sorry?
Najee Harris not going.
We don't think Najee. Yeah, he's already been ruled out with the abdominal injury. Oh, I guess not yet. Sorry, I guess I got to double check that. Let me do that.
It hasn't been that great all year anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but yeah.
Preston saying about this UFC thing. This is the first I've heard of this, which is shocking. But something must have
mentioned it earlier today too.
They mentioned it in the chat. I was like, "What?" I'd never. So I will definitely look into it. Billy Friedrich saying Harris questionable but didn't practice yesterday. There's a sweaty butcher in the house. I'm moving towards Pitt. Let's just quickly touch on Atlanta before we close this up. Coming off a third loss in 4 games, but they were right in that game versus Washington. You have to think that home versus Pittsburgh is easier than at Washington, right? And they were, one play away from winning that game.
Yep, I was on Atlanta.
Are we saying that also Atlanta's offensive line can't pass protect? They're 29th in quarterback sack percentage. They're going up against TJ Watt.
It's pretty good.
They looks like Ebiketie, their outside linebacker, Arnold Ebiketie. Arthurson is still hoping he lines up, but they're weak at outside linebacker, and he's hurt. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. What up, G? Daniel Lopez, Pittsburgh 0-3 straight up after win. Atlanta 3-1 against spread as a home dog. And Birdie says, "What up? Falcons spot here. Pittsburgh have Ravens on deck." That does add.
Okay, man. That's why hopefully this pass button's there. Let's end this poll and find out here. You can give them 5 minutes for these polls. That's how good we feel. And 45% on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we shall see if that makes our card. I'll tell you now, it's more than the 43% from the Buffalo Bills.
Don't put up the stream yet. Before I said that playing Pittsburgh at home has to be easier than being at Washington, right? It is. We know that. It's fact. and they were one play away from winning that football game. Right at the at the 5 or 6 yard line. So I guess I'll stay off of it. But I came very close to thinking Pittsburgh was the play. Okay, 45% our new leader. We have introduced the pass button. We need to try something different. Shake it up. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Green Bay Packers at Chicago Bears, Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. 37 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 12 miles per hour. I bet the Packers first half -3 and full game -4. We know Aaron Rodgers has the Chicago Bears number, but it's not that. It's that I'm betting that they keep Justin Fields on the sidelines. That's the bet here. The bet is that they tank in a civilized manner. Right?
Yeah, the Greg Popovich, as they say.
In a civilized manner. They sit back and stop starting their very good running back. It saddens me that he's dealing with the shoulder issue, separated shoulder and partially torn ligaments on his throwing shoulder, because I was so impressed that he was accelerating into contact.
He was great on my fantasy team too.
I was so impressed. So my bet here is that Fields will be announced that he's not, that they will announce that Fields is not starting. The thing is that I've done this twice over the last 3 weeks. I bet that Sam Ehlinger was going to be the quarterback when Jeff Saturday took over. That blew up my face. And then what was his last one? I just went blank. I bet that
it was the Jets.
No, I had Mike White. There was one I lost that blew up in my face, which I'll remember in a second. But I feel like that Simeon, I feel like the Bears are tanking and giving up. And we know that Rodgers has the Bears number, and Rodgers is being, taken to the woodshed with how he's been playing. I expect him to play better. We already see 5s on the board now. Pinnacle is still yet to drop this, but Bookmaker is at 4.5. Where's a 5? Let's see. Belline, show me
drop this. I mean, he's already said Rodgers is for sure playing. I know that. He's already said that. So I like the Packers here too. And, I'll put it as simply as Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. And, I will admit that this is the game that Bears fans always circle on their calendars. They'd love to beat the Packers. So if Justin Fields were to come back for one game, I feel like, maybe it would be this one. And then, maybe it wasn't a great idea, but he plays. I don't know, but I like the Packers here as well. I think they take care of business. And I do think you're right about the Bears tanking. They're going to tank, and then they're going to trade back to a team that needs a quarterback, and then amass all those picks, and they'll be rolling. That's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. And and look, so here it's a public spot. You have 68% of the tickets. Now that's not ridiculous. And 79% of the cash. Look, I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable backing the Packers. And
will this line move if we do, or if and when? Because I also agree. I mean, this has got to be like 7 when Simeon comes in.
I was thinking of 6.5, but I think 6.5 at home will be the final. Maybe it gets to 7. I hope it gets to 7. That'll make me feel good. We have Paco Healy in the chat. Jose just learned that it is you and Damon who've surpassed him. He didn't know who Slam DeClostable was.
No, it's like a ghost just popped up behind my shoulder. And the worst thing about it is Paco Healy became a member today. So shout out to Paco, but fuck you, Paco, at the same time, man. Damon Santori.
I'm cheering for him.
Drug Monkey, you too. I'm like Arya Stark going to sleep just singing these names in my head now. And like I said, I hate Sundays now. This contest has made me dread Sundays like a disease. But yeah, it's a fucking time. Let me tell you that. Jimmy, 4 minutes on our poll. And again, we don't know how the percentages are going to really shake out here, but 48% on the Green Bay Packers there.
I like this. We've introduced the pass button. We are trying to evolve here. We're coming off our worst week in the circa millions, but we still believe. And next week is the start of the final quarter, which will pump us up. Let's move on to the next game. Billy Friedrich is nonplussed. He's been pissed off throughout this whole show.
Billy, I'm sorry.
No, I love it. All right, let's bring
By the way, Jimmy, I do like how you just seized the reins of opening the games now. See, these is the host dynamics, guys. I open one game, he opens the other's games. He didn't like my opening, guys. He didn't like it. He didn't enjoy it.
No, anytime you want to open the game, feel free.
Let's talk. These are our two favorite teams here. I feel like we're on the Detroit Lions every other week. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars are the darlings of football. And I'll tell you, this is the same scenario I saw in Pittsburgh, Atlanta, two shit bum teams. And now I think one shit bum team, the home team specifically, is better than the away team. And yet, Trevor Lawrence, and I almost said Urban Meyer, but it's Doug Peterson leading and fucking having this favorite spread on them. It was crazy to me. I didn't think that the Lions would be underdogs at home here, to be honest. So I lean Lions, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, who his ascent makes me hurt every single day. Jimmy, I will tell you that it hurts me every single morning.
This reminds me of when the Detroit Lions went to New York to face the Giants and beat them. And everybody was confused by the line. The only thing that's keeping me off Jacksonville here is that they just had a season-defining performance in Trevor Lawrence's best game. That's the only thing. I won't take Detroit under any circumstances here. If you break this game down statistically, Jacksonville is just better than them. I know that's difficult really to believe, but that's the situation. If you say, but Lions offense is better than the Jags offense, over the last 3 games, Jags are getting 5.5 yards per snap. Lions are getting 5.2. Forget the first 4 games of the season. That was a long time ago. Jaguars defense is bad, 21st in opponent's yards per play. Lions are last.
Defense not good.
So look, now the Lions are at home, and that's an advantage. And Jacksonville's coming off a season-defining performance, so I don't want to back any team off a season-defining performance. We've seen this go from dog to favorite. Jacksonville opened up -101. They're only -106 now. They got up to -119 at Pinnacle. And then when we go to the cash flow, the Sharps are on barely on Jacksonville. 34% of the tickets, 40% of the cash. I'm comfortable having this just a pick in my pools here. I don't know if it'll make my Cappers contest at this point, but I don't feel like I need to bet it. I need to make it a pick here on the show just because I see how Detroit is leading this poll, and I don't want them to be on our card. But I guess this isn't really a against the Sharp situation. Millsy as Jamal Williams, anytime touchdowns, best bet. Looking good. He's been excellent.
I mean, he does it every week. It makes me sick. It makes me so angry. I don't bet that every week because he just literally every time the Lions are on the 1-yard line, it's just hand the ball to Jamal because I have fucking Jonathan, whatever the fuck his name is, Swift, and he fucking never gets it. So it's annoying. But I definitely thought this was a Lions spot, but the flip, and it's just, like I said, the same scenario from Pittsburgh, Atlanta. I almost called them the Falcons genuinely there.
There has been a big change, though, here, Jose. This was heavy, sharp action on Jacksonville, and it's come back. And so Birdie's saying, I think you see sharp money on the Lions come Sunday. That's a real possibility from this because this was heavy, sharp action, big bets coming in on Jacksonville, and that's changed a bit.
By the way, I did just mesh Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift. So good job by me. Shout out to Billy Friedrich. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough game. So I pass on this. I might end up with Detroit at the end of the week, but ultimately we'll find out here. 4 minutes are up, and we've got a 50% spot on the Detroit Lions there. So shout out to the Lions, our new leader in this show so far.
Well, I think you should open up the next game because your team is in play.
Yes. Talk about, season-defining victories. the white guy, Mike White, gets in there and does his damn thing. The New York Jets, as I type and put the poll up right now, is, typing and talking suddenly becomes difficult when you have to do it under pressure. But the poll is up and the Jets card is up now. I find it very fascinating indeed to figure out what are we the Jets going to do here, because this is a good team in the Minnesota Vikings, and this is a good test. The Patriots, I choose to eliminate those games in my mind, and I think about Mike White coming in last year and his term in relief. Came in his first game, played well. I was like,
Well,
White guy.
37 completions,
Yeah.
NFL record, and his jersey's in the Hall of Fame.
The white guy, that's what I call him. Ever since that guy, I love him. That's Mike White. It's my guy. But then his next game, he kind of, poo-poo caca down his leg. And I was like, all right, whatever. This he's got big backup quarterback energy. And I'm hoping he learned from that his first time out and obviously did game manage well. And that's what Big Bob Saleh, I'm guaranteeing, is preaching to these dudes in the quarterback. We don't need you to be Superman. Just be a game manager, because our defense is arguably the best in the league. And it's sick that we've had some privileged asshole holding us back this whole time. So I'm going to be on the New York Jets because I've been on them, I think, every week this year. I actually should go back and look, and you can look on the Cappers contest page right now. You can see everyone's picks per week, so I can actually double check and see how often I've taken the Jets this week. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Jets, but Minnesota obviously is a good team, and the matchup that's going to define this game is my baby boy Sauce Gardner versus Jordan, a.k.a. Justin Jefferson. I call him Jordan Jefferson all the time on accident because I think of the LSU quarterback for some reason. But yeah, that's going to be the matchup that defines the game. If they can stop Justin, then I think this is going to be a New York Jets victory, to be honest. But I always think of a sliding door moment as well, thinking that I wanted a Kirk Cousins on the Jets very badly when he was a free agent, and the Jets were very much in on him as well. So that's something I also ponder when I think about this game.
You said poo-poo caca and we lost 13 viewers.
Well,
this opened up at plus 3.5 and has moved to 3. From a cash flow standpoint, we have these Vikings with 49% of the tickets, 37% of the cash. The sharps are on the Jets, obviously. They moved it from 3.5 to 3. But I'm hesitant to see what Mike White does in his second game. The Bears are terrible. Now, the Vikings secondary is atrocious, but it was enough to take out the Patriots. Who's better right now, the Jets or the Patriots?
It's a tough question to ask. I think the Jets are the better team, but obviously they had the luckiest play since the Minnesota Miracle. It's the Miracle in the Meadowlands I'm thinking of. They had the luckiest play since them to give them a win against the Jets. So I say Jets, but I'm obviously talking out my ass, I guess.
I came close to betting the Jets. I picked them here, and I'm getting killed by Vikings backers. They're all over the Vikings.
And by the way, I will say this: the Jets are a better road team than they are at home. That just seems to be an effect Jets fans might have on. It's like a New York Mets kind of thing, I guess. Sweaty Butcher mentioning the 3-1 ATS on the road. I just voted the Jets. And I just saw the results, so I will end the poll because it looks like the Minnesota Vikings are going to be on our card this week. 62%.
You should have waited. It was coming down. It came down from 72 in the last minute.
72. God almighty. Well,
I voted Jets.
I was on the Jets as well. 4 minutes. Plenty long enough, unfortunately. But yeah, that's going to be a very interesting game. And Clint, I'm sure, is celebrating his birthday right now. Happy birthday to Clint. But I am going to go ahead and tell you, Clint, and I'll do this, Jimmy. Hold on. Clint, I want you, Clint. Stake bet, New York Jets, Minnesota Vikings, me versus you, Clint. You're going down.
Yeah, all the legal sports books. I haven't read any articles, but I'm looking at my books. All the legal sports books have taken UFC off. All the legal sports books in Canada. Stimmy OG's on the Patriots-Bills under big. I like it. Bron Crawford says 10 days rest at home, off home. That is a angle for the Vikes. If I was just hammering bets just left, right, and center, I'd be on the Jets and the Steelers, but I think I have enough action, and succeeding is paramount. Let's move on to the next game here, and we have the Washington Commanders and New York Giants. I find this game so fascinating.
Huge game, gigantic game. A lot of people in Dallas and Texas will be paying attention to this game.
Well, I don't think Cowboys have anything to worry about. I mean, they're going to win that division easily. But Washington opened up as 1-point favorites. They're now 2.5-point favorites at plus 101.
People love that left hand up.
They do.
They were playing that song in the locker room, by the way, Jim.
10,544 tickets in, 35% of the tickets, 52% of the cash on Washington. They're coming off their 6 win in 7 games. But it was barely. I mean, they covered, but it was barely. Heineken now 5-1 as a starter this season. You can tell I'm drying out. I said Heineken.
Do you like Heinekens?
Yes. Well, I'm just taking a week off the sauce. Shouldn't be hard, right? Brian Robinson Jr. was the star on offense. He looked great. They have a ton of weapons, but look at Heineke. He was 14-23 for 138 yards.
You know, Jimmy, I just thought about this, and I'm sorry I keep interrupting.
No, it's all good.
Because you're a train, and I don't want to get in front of you when you're talking about the games.
It's all good.
If I win the Cappers contest, Jimmy, I will get you a Washington Commanders big hat, and I will ship it to your place. And I would love for you to wear it on the show, just like our guy Brian Robinson.
A 10-gallon hat?
I don't know what the fuck they're called. Whatever he was wearing in the locker room after the game, I will get you one, the Commanders version, for sure.
I have a Redskins hat over there that can't be worn.
Yeah, I have a Cleveland Iwards hat with Chief Wahoo on it that I can't wear. So,
Giants coming off extra rest and prep. They lost at Dallas on Thanksgiving. They shouldn't have covered, but they did, and that's fine. They have a ton of injuries on the offensive line. They were missing 3 starters in that game. Feliciano's a big deal, and they thought that Evan Neal, their first-round pick, was going to be back. He's going to be back this week. That will help them. Still, it was hard for me not to bet the Commanders. It was very hard for me not to bet the Commanders.
I voted for them. I might be on them. It's shocking. Just Taylor Heineke just wins. Just keeps on winning, and it's truly a case of the New York Giants just trending down, the Commanders going up. It just kind of felt like an easy play to me, and I don't trust Daniel Jones either. Putting any money in Danny Dimes' hands is just, he's got little hands too. I'm sure the fumbles always happen. I just can't do it. Brian Daboll, congratulations, you did a great job in the first half of the year, but I think it's just too depleted. And this Commanders, who I think Chase Young comes back. We get him back all the way. We'll see.
Chase Young coming back, yeah.
Okay, so then we'll be good. So I like the Commanders here.
So it feels like an easy spot for the Commanders. But what if they're a good football team, but Heineke's got weapons, legitimate weapons all around him. And he puts up really poor passing numbers. He's a winner.
It's shocking. But he's cut from the same cloth as Kirk Cousins. He's very much that same kind of quarterback. So I respect him. Shout out to ODU, man.
I don't see any Kirk Cousins in him.
I do. I see a lot of it. I think he's got that very much game man. Well, Kirk Cousins, first of all, is the top kind of game manager. He obviously will shoot you in the foot when he's not playing well. And if Heineke's not playing well, it's all over for you. I think they're the fucking, maybe it's the chains thing from earlier in the year as well, when they were throwing the chains on Heineke as well. But I think they truly are one and the same. They're like cousins. If they looked at each other in the room, it'd be the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other.
Well, I don't want anything to do with the Giants, but something just doesn't feel right in this spot, or I'd already be on Washington.
I'm on the left hands up. I'm on the left hand. My left hand is strictly up, and I'm always on the Commanders here. 4 minutes are up, and pretty surprising. I did not anticipate this one, Jim. Let's show the results, YouTube, you bastard. I saw 46%.
No,
oh no,
44.
44%. There we go. So a tie. So, I don't know how we would break that, but I don't think that's going to make our card either way.
All right, let's move on. I'm a little surprised Washington. I did pass, though. I didn't. I could, but it wouldn't have. Maybe it would have been. I don't know. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Jose, Titans, Eagles. Do you want to start this one?
Sure. I've been a Philadelphia Eagles guy all year. And it's not cool anymore to be a Philadelphia Eagles guy. At the beginning of the year when they were winning, I was like, yeah. But now they've kind of come back down to earth a little bit. And I was on the Titans last week as well. I was very frustrated with that game. I was very annoying. We'll talk about them in a second. But I don't know. The Eagles are starting to come down a little bit from everyone's public eye. And I think everyone's starting to look at the 49ers as the team to come out the NFC. And it's tough to argue with it. They're both these teams are very, very good at running the football, the 49ers and the Eagles. So, you can see that from them. And we'll talk about Titans now. They're also not too bad with Tractor Cito. But man, like we said, last week I was on the Titans. I was on the freaking Bengals. And then I was like, oh, Chase is out. Okay, I'll flip because of the home Titans. I like Vrabel. No, Joe Burrow was just simply better than stupid Ryan Tannehill that day, and the Bengals defense was phenomenal. This is another spot where I could see Vrabel getting the boys going, but ultimately I think I'm going to pass here and just not even play this game because the Eagles cheap here. Maybe it's a buy low spot, but it's always a little scary when you're going up against a good defense with Jalen Hurts.
I moved on the Titans at +5 on Tuesday. I'm happy to see it 4.5, but I'm nervous about this. Is a very public dog right now, hugely public. 82% of the tickets, 93% of cash. Tells me I'm going to lose. I'm very uncomfortable with those numbers, but like that, it's gone to 4.5. It better go down to 4 soon, or I'm probably in big trouble. Not that there's a big difference between 5 and 4, but just so I can see some sign that the market is concerned by all this Titans money, because they don't seem at this point. Yeah, it was a disappointing loss to the Bengals. I think that kind of helps, kind of a bit of a wake-up call. Derrick Henry was completely shut down on the ground, and then he doesn't get shut down twice in a row. They've also had such a good red zone offense this year. They go 0-3 in the red zone. Their red zone defense is so good. 8th in the league in opponent red zone touchdown percentage. They haven't allowed points this year. I mean, that first game of the year, or the game against the Bills, whatever, they got destroyed. But, 20 points for the first time they allow in a while. I mean, even when the Chiefs put up 500 yards, they didn't get over 20 points. And they have the best third down defense in the league. Opponents are converting 30.67% against them. So let's see if the Eagles can't run the ball, can hurt you through the air. He's shown us that he can at times this year. He's had some big plays. There's been games where he threw 3 25-plus yard touchdown passes to A.J. Brown in a half.
So, yeah, and obviously he's going to be the guy this week. Big Show's already said here he's going to be on 2 TDs for A.J. Brown facing his old squad. There's already been some shit talk between A.J. and the Titans fans, whatever. But it's a tough game. This is going to be like the most like man-on-man like fight football game out there. It's just going to be a war running the football. I wouldn't necessarily hate an under, but it's just going to be a fight.
I'm nervous. I'm looking at the numbers here. This makes me very nervous. when everybody's on one side, it's not my most comfortable situation. I'm a little nervous about this spot, but look, I bet it. I didn't think it'd be this blatant. I thought there'd be some Eagles love somewhere. It doesn't seem to have Eagles love anywhere.
Vrabel. People love Vrabel. Off a loss. And by the way, Birdie putting in there Eagles with a key secondary injuries as well.
Oh, it was huge.
Torch the defense. It's gonna be on Jalen Hurts. This is gonna be another test. He's been getting a little bit of MVP buzz too. This will be
a little bit. He's leading. He's on top of the board, MVP board. So
not Mahomes.
No, Hurts is on top of the MVP board. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the lacerated kidney, is the player that they're speaking of. Look, I'm nervous. Let's close up the vote and move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's do it. I can't believe Mahomes is not the MVP loader. Oh my Lord. I did not look at the poll. I voted pass, but 75% on the Tennessee Titans. So
next up for us, we have the Ravens at home against the Broncos. We're at M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland, 47 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour. I'm sure it's much colder than 47 Fahrenheit now. It's been colder all over America than we thought. Here we have the Ravens opening up at depending on where you shop. Why don't I pull up the actual line history? Opening up -7.5 at Pinnacle, now -8.5. I got in on the Ravens first quarter, first half. I'm hoping that we have a very angry Ravens.
You're not on the under?
Sorry?
You're not on the under?
No, I'm not on the under here. No, I'm on the Ravens. I wasn't on the full game under in the Broncos last game either. I was only on Broncos team total under. They're putting these numbers, very low, and that.
Well, we should say, by the way, happy birthday to Russell Wilson. I hope no one came to your birthday party. Indeed.
Cash wise, 11,305 tickets in. 26% of tickets, 40% of the cash on Denver. So there are some sharps that think that Denver can cover the number, but this spread is getting bigger, which is good. I mean, you have to ask yourself if the Broncos hit rock bottom or Russell Wilson's hit rock bottom. I mean, he's been so bad. But the Ravens have proven that they can get beaten over the top, and there's no reason why, Cortland Sutton or somebody can get loose over the top. And the Ravens have looked bad in second halves, and this Baltimore's team is 5th and 3rd down conversion rate. They have a bunch of statistical spots that are so much better than the Broncos. And the Broncos are 19th in opponents' yards per carry. Everyone talks about this Broncos defense being that good, but that run defense is not that good. And the Ravens can exploit that. So I expect the Ravens to take care of business, but I only bet them first quarter, first half, and I am nervous about it. I'm not sitting here with a ton of confidence. And the Sharps being on Denver, I feel like I should almost vote Denver just to make sure that I don't want to be up against the Sharps in all these plays and all these spots. But what are your thoughts here?
Well, as someone that watches the Ravens quite frequently, because I have Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson on my fantasy teams that I really care about, they really did a number on me last week, especially when Mark Andrews dropped a touchdown pass. That probably would have locked up that game for them. Obviously the Jaguars come back, big moment, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just, I cannot trust the Ravens with these big spreads, and I don't think the Broncos are going to score over 10 points. Like, it's kind of surprising whenever they do score 2 touchdowns. I don't know about you. I pass on this game. And I think 9.5 or 8.5, excuse me, is kind of crazy to me at some points. But again, you just have to remember the Broncos, they don't score. Like, they just never score the football, and ultimately that's what you need to win football games. So I passed here. I guess if gun to head, I'm taking the Ravens, but I did vote pass.
Yeah, Birdie says that the movement tells us whoever was has zero respect from the books. I disagree. The plus 8.5 is juiced heavy at Pinnacle, and I expect that Nate will be on the board at some point in the next 48 hours. I expect an 8 will be back on the board. There, if you want the Ravens at -8.5, it's vig free opportunity to bet. So we'll see.
They're a bad, good team, the Ravens are right now.
And there was no sharp money, Birdie. Sorry, there was no sharp money on the Broncos 48 hours ago. There was no big bets. So this is something that's been happening over the last, I don't know, 24, 36 hours. So we'll see what it does.
And something that our friend Andy Molidor said on like Wednesday or after Wednesday, you can like the shackles are off and big bets can start coming in. So it might be something as well.
We'll see. Coins at Circa showing a 9. The 8.5 is juiced at Pinnacle. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, I want the Ravens to take care of business. So I don't mean to be negative about that spot. I really badly want them to take care of business. So
yeah, let's find out what the poll has to say, though. 4 minutes are up 45% or 44%, excuse me, on the Baltimore Ravens. So probably not making our card, but something to keep track of. Now, I will admit, Jimmy, I'll start this one off. This is my favorite game of the week. I love storylines. I love drama. I love being a petty troll. And I love when fan bases have a reason to come together and boo someone. Cleveland Browns, Houston Texans. And this is the Super Bowl. This is it for Houston. This is all we've had. All we've had is like I'm a Houston fan. All they've had the whole year. This is the game they had circled. Beat Deshaun Watson. I can't wait to see what the reception is. Raining boos. It should be, not because of the person he is. It should be cheers because they got a ransom from him for him. And they got this just headache out of their system. So should be cheers, but they're going to boo the hell out of him. I think he's going to be rusty. The way he's handling the media has been hilarious. I just ultimately think this is the Texans Super Bowl, and I think they can cover this number, and I think they can even win this game outright. So I'm taking the 7 points here, Jimmy. I like the Houston Texans.
that's wild. That's wild. I mean, I can understand that the Texans care about this football game, but you also have to have skills on the field to win a football game. And I just haven't seen that from them. I'm not on the Browns here. I have no idea what Deshaun Watson's going to give you after being off for almost 2 years.
I bet you the best play he does is not through the air. It's going to be with his legs.
I don't know. I think that, I'm not sure he's going to have the quick twitch ability, but he's just 27. He led the NFL in passing in 2020. So 33 touchdowns.
Great.
I don't know what he's going to do 2 years later. And also Myles Garrett talked about how much pain he was in, that he thought he had broken something at the end of the game. He aggravated the shoulder injury from the car crash. So we'll see how he is this week. But the Texans have been unbelievably bad. And I don't look, we know what Kyle Allen's going to give you. He's terrible.
Horrible.
We have an idea of what Davis Mills is going to give you, but you should you put you've invested too much time and energy into Davis Mills. I'm sure you can pick your pick of the quarterbacks in the draft this year, but
would you like another wild prediction from me?
Sure.
I think that a non-quarterback throws a touchdown this game. I think that Lovie Smith will be in his bag. So whether it be Brandon Cooks throwing the touchdown or Dameon Pierce throwing the touchdown or Brandon Cooks, I just think they are going to pull out all the stops to win this game. And I think, by the way, Pierce has had a couple shitty weeks in a row, and it's not even his fault. When you get down a double digits, how can you run the football? I think, like Nunya's saying, I think Pierce should have a bounce back to a good game.
Wow. Yeah, let's talk about the money here in this one, because Birdie likes Washington spread and money line as well. This is where we stand here. They've given the same line value they've given the Patriots. So just behind the Steelers and Packers for most line value on the day. 77% of the tickets, 81% of cash on Cleveland. I don't want anything to do with this football game. This is a real easy pass for me. This isn't something where I want to see the character of Deshaun Watson. We know his character. So like, we know who he is.
Oh man, it is kind of funny whenever character and Deshaun Watson get put together now. It is really funny. By the way, shout out to me as I'll end the poll here. I was at the Orange Bowl that featured Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. So good job by them. So 4 minutes are up, and as I end this 43 all, so that is not going to make our card.
Birdie's saying no movement. Another thing about the 6.5, the Pinnacle, because it took about 10 hours or so to move to 7. So even that early money on the Texans wasn't a quick. You'll see Pinnacle move it in 10 minutes. So I can understand your confidence with this line not moving to 7.5. I'm just thankful I'm not in on it. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. I had to be talked off of betting the Seahawks. And there's a lot of important stats that back the Rams. I just don't know how anybody could. Whether we're expecting Wolford to be under center. Can you look that up right now, Jose, if John Wolford will be under center? Bryce Perkins looks awful. And now they have their best defensive player, Aaron Donald, out. So they're missing their starting quarterback, their top 2 wide receivers, their top 2 starting offensive linemen, and their best defensive player. And yet, with the Seahawks coming off of a loss after their bye week, people still think that it's just public kind of fool's money to be on Seattle. Speaking of which, Pinnacle's moved this to 8. It's not a real 8. It was a real 8 yesterday at 250. This 8's now plus 105 to Seattle. So they moved it to half point. Everyone else has been hanging the 7.5. It's a 7 here. Wow, it's a 7 here. Let me just see if it's a 7 everywhere else. Wow, it's a 7 everywhere else. So it moved from 7.5 to 7. That's wild. Very, very interesting. I'm probably lucky I got taken off this. The sharps are all over the Rams. 37% of tickets, 61% of cash on the Rams. I'm okay. I'm thankful that I have the chance to talk all these games out with everybody, and even if Seattle does smash, I'm comfortable not being in this public spot that's backing the Seattle Seahawks here. What are your thoughts here, Jose?
Very, very tough game, indeed. It is not confirmed that it's Wolford, but the reporters and stuff are talking to Wolford, so that's one indication that makes me feel like it is him. So no official word yet, and Matthew Stafford's not practicing either yet, so we expect him obviously not to be there. But this is a tough game, like a really tough game. I obviously don't want to back the Rams with literally nothing. Like they just what do they got? Obviously you mentioned Aaron Donald sprained ankle. No thanks. He's not out there. Probably that's like his first game he's missed from injury his whole career. The only other games he misses are like suspensions. So shout out to Aaron Donald for being an Iron Man. But yeah, this is like a pack it in spot for the Rams for me. But yeah, that's a weird line movement. Maybe they also know something. Sean McVay, a good coach. Bobby Wagner facing old squad. Maybe he does something cool in this. But this was ultimately a pass for me as well. The Geno Smith ride. The Seahawks and the Giants are kind of, they're the 2 teams that started off really hot, and now they're kind of lost some games. We're looking at them side eye, like, is this the moment they turn? And I think that, I personally think Geno Smith is maybe better than Daniel Jones. So I'm right now leaning towards thinking that the Seahawks can play potentially better, but I passed the game at the end of the day too.
Yeah, I'm not interested at all. I have the 49ers to win the division in my pocket from the beginning of the year. It's decent plus money, and I don't. I wish I bet more on it. When Seattle was comfortably ahead. Yeah, I don't think the Seahawks are a good football team. I think that now, but they've been a tricky cap for me all year. But they just allowed 576 yards, the third most ever allowed by the Seahawks in their franchise history, off of a bye week. I mean, we talk about what a great job Carroll's done. The fuck was he? Where was he? You know, what was he doing on his bye week that he couldn't prepare for the Raiders, or is his team that? It's just this is a mess. And there is your rival, Damon Santore. There he is, right there, who you didn't even know slammed across the ball.
No, yeah, Damon, he's a fucking nightmare. Just keeps coming back to haunt me. But we won't mention that half of San Diego State's team that beat UTSA in the Texas Bowl was they're all rapists. We won't mention that. But shout out to that punter, confirmed rapist. We won't mention. We won't mention. We won't mention.
It's good of you to keep the rapists off the show.
Thank you.
Let's close up the poll here and move on to the next game that you will lead off. Dolphins, Niners.
Oh wow, how nice. Your team, and you're letting me lead it off as we have a 43% on the Seattle Seahawks, but 40% pass. By the way, 40% pass. So a lot of that's probably the highest pass we've had all.
The pass now is a very important button. It is. It's really important because it can keep. It's a vote that team is not getting because you're not certain, and I think it's a great addition.
Yeah, no, I love it too. I hope, I'm not gonna go back and look, but I would love to find your first reaction to the pass button, and it'd be really funny. But no, I love it now too. It's a great addition, and we have it on there officially for all of our polls. And this next poll, the Dolphins and the 49ers here. Now, this is obviously one of the best games of the week. These next two games, probably the best two games of the week. Obviously, it makes them more difficult to bet on, too. First of all, let's start with what's the Dolphins coach? McDaniels? I forget his name. McDaniel? Just one? McDaniel coming back to face his old squad. Familiarity there. Same way the other way around. Two quarterbacks that we've obviously got question marks on. Jimmy G is the crown prince of the game manager title, and he does his thing with a great coach, while Tua obviously has been a star. Like, if he was healthy the whole year, probably would be up there in the MVP right now. But, Dolphins fans' favorite stat is that they're undefeated with Tua starting and finishing football games, which good stat. I thought it was pretty surprising that the market would just spit in the face of the Dolphins.
It's all because of Teron Armstead. The whole game revolves around one player, and he must be spoken about as soon as possible.
Please speak about him.
Well, it has to. I mean, he's the most important figure in this entire football game. And I was like everybody else. I saw the Dolphins in this number and thought, God, of course, Dolphins in this number. But this Dolphins offensive line is very weak. They spent $75 million on a 5-year contract on Teron Armstead. He's the coach on the field. He hasn't allowed a sack all year. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks. As soon as he left, there were 4 sacks on the next 13 plays. He's a top 15 offensive tackle, according to PFF. And you can't. Now we need. The offensive line was so awful when Teron Armstead was out that they didn't pull, and McDaniel said it in the press conference. They didn't pull Tua out because they were ahead. They pulled Tua out because the quarterback was getting destroyed after they took out Armstead. So the question is now, can you trust McDaniel? And because you should see these meetings they're having. Teron Armstead's leading the meetings, trying to find somebody who could replace him. But
that's hilarious.
That's the whole thing. So is this offense? And then if we know that, then why would we not bet, the under? Now look, it's gone back to 3.5 now.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jimmy. Cameron Wolf, a writer for the NFL Network, tweeted this yesterday. Obviously, Armstead is not having the surgery, and it hasn't been ruled out. He said, I'm told Armstead has been telling folks he's aiming to play Sunday. Armstead does have a remarkable ability to play through injury. So, you're right about him being the whole game, obviously. And this is a spot where if you're lucky enough to be in our cappers contest, you wait until Saturday and see if he's in and get the indications.
But if you can read through the lines here, they can't do it without him. So he's like, oh, maybe I should try and play. Maybe you should shoot me up and I try and play.
And that's what it seems like is going to happen. Yeah.
So, so look, this is the first buyout I've done all year. I went in on the Dolphins. We broke down the game again on Gridiron Gamblers, and I bought off. So I'm gonna lose the vig on the $200 bet. It's like $18. I'm gonna lose that, but at least I sleep at night. So yeah, I get. You see the number. And look, this is a public dog, a hugely public dog.
I voted 49ers because I think I'm probably going to have the 49ers on my card. Truthfully, the disrespect, it told me something. I think the 49ers are that good. I think they're really, really good, Jimmy. And I'm going to be excited to watch your football team. And ultimately, it's Jimmy G. If Jimmy G is good, then this 49ers team is going to beat anyone that could play them. So I love the Eagles, but San Francisco 49ers, the Eagles will be a great matchup in the playoffs. But
it would be a dream. It would be a dream if they head over to Philly for the conference final. But that would just make my year. The 79% of the tickets, 84% of cash on Miami. So a public dog, we know what they do. They slit your throat. Okay.
Yes, I have some very excited animals in my room right now. So I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to leave for a half second, and we're going to start talking about the next game. By the way, 63% on the Miami Dolphins. But we'll power rank that and see how it goes, because I don't know 100% if that's going to make our card. It's going to be very close, I think.
I think it will make our card. At least at this point, it's on our card. Let's move on to the next game. Coin, that was my initial thought was exactly like yours, Coin. It was the Dolphins at this number in the over. And then I studied it and I was like, oh shit. And I already got it. I thought they were going to move it to 3.5. Pinnacle was leaning to move it for 3.5. So I thought, oh, get in on this 4 now. Then I studied it and I'm like, oh shit, it's the 49ers in the under. But I'm just going to stay off of it. Let's move to the next one on the board. That being the Chiefs at Bengals. This is the game of the week. Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Chiefs coming off that easy 26-10 home victory over the Rams.
A lot of shit talk.
But they went 1 for 6 in the red zone against this Rams defense. I find it, that we asked. Birdie brought it up in the chat, and I said it was a fair question. I was like, is it possible that the Bengals are the better football team in this matchup? And, people are like, that's just the dumbest shit I ever heard. You should have heard everybody in the chat. And I was like, really? So the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year?
I mean, yeah, 2-0 in their last 2 meetings, especially when it counted in the playoffs.
So, I don't want to fade the Chiefs. I did in the conference final, but that was a different situation with a different number. Chiefs open up -3. They're now -2.5. If you want the Bengals at +2.5, it got juiced up to -119 yesterday. It's come back to -110, but it's still juiced. When we come over here to where the sharp action is, there's no help. There's no sharp action anymore. It's just 47% of tickets, 47% cash on the Chiefs. The Bengals are getting healthier. Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase weren't there, and they went into Tennessee and beat a very good Titans football team. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is on the Chiefs. I'm afraid to fade the Chiefs. I want to bet the Bengals here, but I don't have to. And the Chiefs have Revenga, So maybe the Chiefs go in there and take care of business, feel good about themselves. And maybe we get to revisit this in the playoffs. In Kansas City, maybe. It's a tough conference. Let's hear what you have to say, Jose.
Well, I'll tell you, I have my best friend is a Chiefs fan, and the Bengals are their fucking nightmare. Like he just lies awake thinking about the Bengals, and I think mainly Jamar Chase. And I don't know what the Chiefs have in store for Jamar Chase because obviously Jamar Chase is back this week. He could have played last week, but they were like, I feel a little uncomfortable, et cetera, et cetera. So he didn't play. So he's going to play. I'm going to be very interested to see how that turns out because both games against the Chiefs, it was like 180 yards both times, just complete dominations. So that's the matchup of the game there. If they can somehow contain Jamar Chase in that, just Bengals receiving core in general, they'll have a shot and win this game. But truthfully, I like the Bengals here. I like the Bengals. I don't know if I'll like them enough to get to the window with them, but I maybe this is a little bit too rudimentary. I always love a home dog. I think that the Bengals are good enough to beat the Chiefs on any given day, and at home just makes me feel good about it. Quarterback wise, I'm going to say something maybe a little blasphemous right now. I think we all know Patrick Mahomes is number one. Give me Joe Burrow as the second best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen right now this season been 3. Obviously you get the immediate pushback from Bills fans. As you would say, Jimmy, or as you said, who was in the Super Bowl last year? Mr. Joe Burrow. So I trust my guy, ISO Joe. I don't know if I'll get there to window like I mentioned, but I like Bengals +2.
I can't wait to watch the game. I can't wait to watch the game, and I can't wait to watch Mahomes and Burrow go at it for the next 10 years. We're lucky. We're very, very lucky. It's going to be a lot of fun. And let's see here. Wow. The chat is spoken.
Your reaction to the poll results make me laugh, Jimmy. They make me laugh. 74% on your Kansas City Chiefs. So that will be very interesting indeed. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse about potentially to having the Bengals on my card this week, I will admit.
Well, let's move on. The autumn wind is a pirate. You want to take the lead for Chargers Raiders?
It's a raid. Oh, there goes my voice. So I'm done. There it is. I'm over. Take over.
Oh, Jesus. Wow, that's a very effeminate cough you have. Chargers Raiders, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Chargers coming off that 25-24 last second victory at Arizona. And the Raiders coming off a big 40-34 road victory in overtime at Seattle. Let's take a look at the line history here in this one. This is extremely difficult. And it's only so difficult because of my misuse of the Raiders this year. I've been horrible with them. Chargers opened up -2.5 road favorite. They moved to -1. It's 1.5 here listed, but that's a +110. From a total perspective, we don't care. From the line history here in this, or for cash flow, it's 50-50.
Wow.
But 86% of the cash is on the Raiders. It's just sharp money all over the Raiders. And Birdie says Raiders for me here. Great spot for them. Look, Josh Jacobs was spectacular, supposedly dealing with a calf muscle injury. It's amazing how fast you can heal when you're in a contract year. Franchise record 229 yards on the ground, added 74 receiving. Unbelievable. The 7th most yards in the Super Bowl era. 4th player in the Super Bowl era with at least 300 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. First since Adrian Peterson in 2007.
I can't wait for him to be so disappointed with his contract.
Oh, someone's going to give him a big payday.
And then they will be very disappointed. I really hope the Jets don't Le'Veon Bell him. Please, for the love of God, do not do that.
God, what a career that guy had. Sure went over.
Yeah, he was a gigantic asshole. He sucked very much. And by the way, some good soccer going on too as well. Shout out to Avocado giving us the updates as well. Looks like Germany might be going out.
Well, Coin saying that Las Vegas now favorite -1 here. Yeah, it is. Spread, it doesn't look like it here at Pinnacle, but money line Vegas is now -107. So the books are concerned with the sharp money coming in on the Raiders, and that
It
is
feels like we should just be on the sides where the favorite flipped. It feels like it should be one of those things.
yeah.
I've starred the Raiders here on my card. I personally do not like the Raiders. I have been betting against the Raiders. I was on the Seahawks last week, and they keep just shoving it on my ass. It's just they really just have two guys on offense, and it just works out every time. Deep balls to Devontae Adams, and he'll come down with it, one hand or two, doesn't matter. Or 86-yard touchdown runs in overtime with Josh Jacobs. I think back-to-back overtime victories too, and something that's shocking, I believe Derek Carr 8 or 9-1 in overtimes in his career now. Another shocking stat there. So I don't like going against Justin Herbert, really, and it makes me uncomfortable every time I don't have the quarterback advantage when I have a bet in the NFL. But it seems like the autumn wind is going to be a Pirate, and I'm not going to do that voice again because my throat hurts.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that we'll just so comfortably go up against the Sharps. It's just
It's a show. It's a fun time, and we'll give it a minute because
I'd also prefer we succeed.
I would be, you're right. I would love to succeed. And, Jimmy, I will say this. You mentioned it earlier. Perhaps we go in 5 again. How about we go do the fucking thing where we win the $1,000 for being the worst? It doesn't matter.
I think we started out too well in week 1 of this quarter.
So who knows? Who knows? But I think the Raiders too, and we'll end the poll here and we'll see how it goes. I voted the Raiders, and it is 58% on the Chargers. I don't think that will be good enough to make our card.
Oh, good.
But it'll be close, obviously, and I will need a moment to tabulate and make sure there's no hanging chads, and make sure that all the votes are counted. So that'll be fun. But we have a goodish game coming up. I wish they would have flexed it out, but we don't flex out the Dallas Cowboys.
So stupid. We could have a Sunday night live bet stream, Bengals Chiefs. Instead, we have this fucking garbage.
Yep, that is America right there.
Fuck yeah! All right,
America.
Colts Cowboys, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Colts open up at +9 or +10 at Pinnacle, but they were 9.5, and now they're +11, but it's really a +10.5. That 11 is juiced to -121. Take a look and see where the sharp money here is. 40% of the tickets, 49% of the cash on the Colts. So that's interesting here. Colts on a short week after that disappointing 24-17 loss at home to Steelers on Monday. Jeff Saturday admitted that he made some poor decisions with time management there at the end of the game.
Shocking.
They were awful in the first half, and then, you blink and they're up 17-16. But their offensive line, which used to be such a strength for them, is atrocious. 28th in quarterback sack percentage. And this is not a front seven that you want to be soft against. The Colts defense as a whole is atrocious. 27th in yards per play. This is a Cowboys team that is not angry, doesn't have anything to prove. Could come in a little sloppy, I guess. I don't know. The only way I want to live bet this game. I want the Cowboys to go down and score and then see what kind of number I can get on the Colts. I don't really know how to bet this game because that back door is going to be open, and Saturday Saturday's trying to figure out how to coach, and he wants to make good decisions, and he wants to judge the talent he has on the roster. So they'll be fighting till the whistle. Alex Gagnon asking if the Colts center is back.
Jeff Saturday?
Yeah. I need to look that up. I don't have that here in my notes at this point. But take it away here.
It would be sick if he just said, "Fuck it, I'm suiting up at center this time."
Yeah, this is a tough one though. This is the spread's right on. Is there a spot you like here?
No, this is a pass game. I voted pass just now. You're right about the Cowboys coming in kind of sloppy, slow, lethargic. Mike McCarthy, not the best coach, so I could easily see that happening. Jeff Saturday, good at getting the boys going at the very least. And I think it's funny how you're saying that he might be evaluating talent for next year. Who the fuck says he's coming back next year? I think he might just take these games and be like, fuck it. That was a great experience. I'm going back to ESPN. So I definitely think his motivation is just going to be like, let's just keep winning ball games because I don't know how long I want to do this. But it's Colts, I guess, or pass for me because I'm kind of low on the Cowboys and I've been for a little bit. I don't trust Dakota Rain Prescott. I don't think he's very good. It's going to be the Tony Pollard Zeke show, mostly and mainly the Tony Pollard show. So we'll see what Micah Parsons does to that Colts offensive line too. So yeah, I passed on this game.
It's a tough one. I don't blame you here. I'm looking forward to our thoughts on the Monday nighter. I'm looking forward to live bet the Monday nighter. You know, I'll have a bottle of Kraken and I'll do up the Colts.
What?
Yeah, I'll do it up. And Kraken, if you're listening, we do want sponsorship now. We want. Look, how drunk do I have to be for us to get sponsorship?
How many bottles? Jim, if you had to line up the amount of bottles of Kraken you've had just in your life,
oh God,
how many bottles would you just loop around?
I would quit drinking forever. I would be so disgusted with myself. How drunk do I have to be for us to get a Kraken sponsorship? I ask you, Kraken, how fucking hammered? How deliriously intoxicated do I need to be? All right, let's close up this one and move on to the Monday night.
33% across the board.
Wow.
So something we don't weird numbers there, but yeah, we move on to I'll admit, Jimmy, a very interesting game just on the fact that Tom Brady has not beaten the Saints that often in Tampa Bay. And Tom Brady also sucks now. So that's an issue. But the Saints are just so bad. So horrifically bad, Jimmy. So bad. What do we do with this?
I'm surprised it's moved to 3.5 here. I thought it was 4s across the board. Is that not the case? It's still 4 at Pinnacle. Is that not the case? I don't see. Oh, I see 1 3.5. Bet 365. 1 at Heritage. Okay. Wow. This opened up at 6. So a big move towards the Saints. Let's take a look at where the cash is in this one. We have 55% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the Saints.
Jesus.
Yeah, and this is like it's a buy low spot on both teams. So it is a tricky cap. Davenport and Cameron Jordan played through injuries in the Niners game. They showed a lot of heart doing that. They need to get Lattimore back and Ryan Ramczyk back, and Pete Werner wasn't put on IR, so maybe he can come back as well. Kamara's got to be better. And then, when we talk about the Saints' average turnover margin, that's by far the worst in the league.
Yeah, and Jameis not even playing.
Yeah, but is it? Do we blame it all on Dalton? Like, those were 2 fumbles by Kamara that shouldn't have happened, Buccaneers coming off an ugly 23-17 loss. Look, their offense, they shouldn't be struggling the way they are. And, Brady does not look good. And now they've lost Tristan Wirfs. It doesn't look like it's going to be as serious as they thought it was when he was carted off the field 3 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. But this offensive line is just being destroyed. It was destroyed before the season started. The free agency, lose Alex Kappa, Ali Marpet retires, Ryan Jensen goes down with knee injury in training camp, Aaron Stinney goes down in preseason. And those guys were really important. But now with Brady getting all this time, that sucks. There are some good. I can't believe I don't get to live bet this fucking Chiefs Bengals game with everybody. I'm pissed off about that.
Fucking Roger.
This is really difficult. I guess you take the points here. I guess. I mean, I haven't bet it.
My lean is just taking the points. I can hear Preston in my head saying that the Saints own Tom Brady. Marcus Lattimore owns Mike Evans. So it has to be the Godwin show. And it'll be interesting to see. So I'll end the poll here. And Jimmy, I'll say this. Oh, there's only 2 minutes. I'll give it a couple minutes. I'll say this. Costa Rica just scored again, and they were plus 1,400 to win this match. 2-1 Germany right now.
If Spain and Germany get knocked out and Costa Rica and Japan move on, it's what makes sports so unbelievable. And I'll be happy. Then who's Argentina got to worry about then? Just Brazil and France.
Yeah. Brazil. This is Brazil's tournament to lose, obviously. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun match for sure. But yeah, this is just a fucked game, by the way. I can't believe this is a Monday night game. The ESPN's getting done so dirty here. So shout out to ESPN, and no shout out to the people who won't flex the Cowboys out. Let's end the poll here. 43% on the Tampa Bay Tom Brady's. And that's obviously not going to be enough. And I'm going to start tabulating while Jimmy talks about whatever.
Well, let's start with the big live streams we have here at Pub Sports Radio this week. And also let's talk about Pub Sports as our code for bookmaker. For Bet Online. Pub Sports is the code, and for mybookie.ag. Those are the two books.
I owe you emails. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys. If you signed up with Bet Online using our account or our promo code, send me your email.
Yeah, it would help us a lot if you could let us know that you did that. Germany just tied it up 2-2. So just tied it up 2-2. These are the live streams we have starting tonight. So as you guys know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We do 5 straight live streams. Tonight's Bills, Patriots. Connor Mack hosting 8 p.m. Tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. right here, the Pac-12 championship game. Utah Utes, USC Trojans. On Saturday, the Big 12 championship game. Kansas State Wildcats, TCU Horned Frogs, and of course, UFC all night here on our channel. Then on Sunday, I'm Colts Cowboys, and Monday, Saints Buccaneers. And it doesn't matter. And there's Sharpie talking about tonight's game. Really fun game. The Thursday night is a great game. I am so excited about the live streams. I mean, we could be betting, and it doesn't matter what we're betting. It's just the fact that we're all doing it together, staring at one game. I'm really excited about. So those are our live streams. Jose, are we close?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the results will not please you. I will admit. The results you will be nonplussed about. Let's just put it like that.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's one of those things that happens. So let's start with apologies because I am typing the last 2 out now, and it's tough, man. It's tough. These numbers I have to look up close to the screen. I'm becoming old as shit. Okay, so Pittsburgh -1 was 45%.
Is this 7th or 5th?
7. This is 7.
7th. So Steelers -1 at what? 45?
45%. Yeah, Jesus, it took me too much time.
It's all good.
This. Green Bay -4.5 at 48% is 6. So that means anything that was 50% and up made our card. So that means at 50% exactly, our fucking Lions at +1. And I will just make a note that we did say that maybe we should be on the other side of all the line flips. But as I say that, we also have the Los Angeles Chargers +1, 58%. The Miami Dolphins at 63%, +4.
63?
63.
Okay.
We also, actually, you know what? I missed one. Thank God I missed one. I just realized I missed one. So the Chargers or the Lions do not make our card.
Okay, so Steelers are 8th.
Yes.
Packers are 7th.
Beautiful. So the Chargers are our 5th team at 58%. And apologies as I can't fucking see. But Our other team, Minnesota, of course, the fucking Vikings -3, 62%. Miami +4, 63%.
So wait, Vikings was what?
Was -3 at 62%, and that'll be our fourth team. The Dolphins will be our third team.
Okay.
And then we have the Kansas City Chiefs, 74, and Tennessee +4.5.
Wait just a sec. So Chiefs 74%. Chiefs were plus or -2.
Yep.
Okay, and then number one.
Tennessee +4.5, 75% of the vote.
God, it's such a public spot now. Fuck. Okay, well, we're 28, 29, and 2. Feels like it was just a minute ago. Sorry, 28, 29, 2. Yeah, it was just a minute ago. We were 28, 24, and 2, and everything was looking possible. Even the week before that was coming off a negative week. We were 27, 21, and 2. That's when there was real hope. Remember, we were like in the top 1,000. We were talking about all the glory.
Well, Jimmy, I'll let you guys know now. I've got six plays that I've looked at, or 6 sides, whatever we're gonna call it, that I've circled in on, and I'm gonna decide between these 6 for the Cappers contest: New England, Green Bay, my New York Jets, the Commanders, the Bengals, and Las Vegas. And it looks like probably the Bengals will be the team that falls out of that, and those will be my contest picks. We'll see. Obviously, things are fluid, but it's gonna be. I need this week. I need a good week here.
You know what I think's happening?
What's happening?
You're buckling under the pressure.
My last name is Bouquet. It does kind of sound like buckle.
Oh no!
So yeah, no, that makes sense. Jimmy, you're gonna make me cry, Jimmy. You're gonna make me you're gonna make me fucking cry, dude. Jimmy, look at me in the face, dude. I've never had more than $3,000 in my bank account. What would I do with $3,000? Fuck if I know. I wouldn't tell Helga about it like you tell me. But I want to win this bad. Damon, Paco, Drug Monkey, you guys are going to make me cry. And I hope you guys go 0-5 this week. And I hope my picks go 5-0 because I need it bad. There we go. How's that? There's that, Jim.
Oh, I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
There's the show. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm gonna go say hello to my mother with tears in my eyes, and she's gonna be like, "Why are you crying?" And I'll be like, "Those bad men didn't let me win the contest." Bye bye.